What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and this would be the first driving experience with my brand new Recaro Sportsters in the 135, the 1M clone. And man, let me tell you, these seats are perfect. They were exactly what I was looking for. I haven't even had the opportunity to drive the car because I've just been so busy. I actually installed the seats about 3 days ago, so it's the first time getting out and actually driving them. And I've been driving the E92 M3 all week. It's so different getting into the E82, the 1 Series, versus the E92. They're just completely different cars, but they also have some similarities that I really enjoy with both parties. But these Recaro Sportsters put you exactly where you want to be in this car. Not too high, not too low, like the perfect level. And the other thing I like about them is you can kind of move them around if you need to. You can move them over a little bit if you wanted it to be a little bit more centered into the cockpit. Right now I have it more centered with the wheel, and I think it's perfect. This is probably gonna be the most like normal street style feel with this setup. But man, paired with the steering wheel, everything about this car, like all the characteristics with these seats, man, it's flawless. It's perfect. I wouldn't change a thing. One thing I do need to do, obviously, is coat out the airbag light, which is going to happen soon. I got my friends at Define Coating who are going to take care of that for me. Woo! This car's so fun, man. I love this car beyond words. It's just the best. This car's my baby, man. I have so much sweat equity into this thing, and yeah, it's just one of the projects that you will never get rid of. And mark my words, I will not get rid of this one, guys. I know that's hard to believe, but I promise you this one's staying for life. But yeah, sitting in these seats, man, they are extremely comfortable. I was a little bit worried about going from an OEM seat to a race seat, like the Sportster, that I just thought maybe they would be a little bit too firm, like maybe I wouldn't enjoy them as much for longer drives. I don't see any issue with these seats, man. They're extremely comfortable. There's enough padding, but they bolster you in so good. Your thighs, your back, like the sides of your stomach, everything just completely just locked in tight with this seat setup, and it's just perfect, man. Like I wouldn't change a single thing with this setup. I think it's a good street track option. I know some people were asking, like, if you're a little bit bigger, would they fit you? I don't know. Probably not, to be honest, because I'm 6'2", I'm 185, 190 pounds, and you know, these are tight. These are tight on me. So if you're a bigger guy, you might not want to run these. But man, for me, flawless. Like they're exactly what I needed in this car. And it was the one thing that I didn't enjoy about driving this car. Like everything else in this car feels sports car, but the OEM seats just felt like everyday traffic, you know what I mean? So it was the one thing that this car was really lacking, was like a good seat setup. I shouldn't say the one thing. A project like this is never really finished. We have a lot to do, but man, these were just the upgrade that I felt like this car really needed to just take that driving experience like that much higher. But I have been busy, and I've been driving the E92 M3. I daily drive that car now. I let my girlfriend take over the VW Tiguan. And yeah, and man, I'll tell you what, E92 M3 is definitely a daily drivable car, manual transmission and everything, and I love it. It's so fun. But now that it's my daily, I'm like forced to, and I love it. I love it. We'll see how that maintenance goes in the long run, but so far, she's good. So the little oneer, the 135, it needs basically the next big overhaul for this car. The 135 needs a good suspension overhaul. Everything. Even the coilover setup that I currently have. I want to go bigger, better with this car and do something that's a bit more rigid and street track. Right now it's all OEM and it's a bit floaty. It's not great, but we'll get it there. It's not bad, but it could be a lot better. And the M3 is on rails, man. It feels so good when I'm driving it. But this car just has a lot of like float to it, you know? Like it could be better. When I upgraded the control arms to the Turner control arms on the M3, it made a huge difference. And even with like the Öhlins and everything, the Millway camber plates, like that's really, I'm gonna mock that exact same setup on this car because it worked so good. I love it. It's like the perfect street track setup. I know I keep saying that, but it really is, and that's kind of what I'm always trying to like go after. I want a street car that I can like daily drive, but I want it to feel like a track car when I want it to feel like a track car, you know? And that's really what I strive for in a lot of these cars. So it's no different with this build, and that's what I'm gonna go after, and I think we're gonna get it there. The other thing that's gonna happen next week is I have some really fun additions to this car. The first one, I'm doing the rear hub conversion on this car, which is, I think, a pretty interesting one. Basically what I did was I ordered all of the components for, well, I'll put the part numbers down below, but basically what it does is it changes out the rear hub to allow 10 millimeters more of wheel and tire in the back. So I do have another set of wheels that I'm going to be running on this car, and I'm hoping to get them on next week, but I test fitted them, and let me tell you something. They are too good, like perfect for this car. I think long-term goal, you know, I would like to see a big single in this car on this motor, but ultimate goal is really to put an S65 in this car. I think it just belongs in it. It's actually surprisingly a pretty easy swap. The front subframe and motor basically bolts right up to the E82 chassis like it was meant to be. We're gonna do that. But this is fun for now. But the setup right now is super good. It's I've just been having a lot of fun with this car. You know, ever since I had the little hiccup with the low pressure fuel pump issue, which really wasn't like a defective product or fuel pump. It was just a poor install. Let's call it what it was. It was just a poor install. Maybe things moved around a little bit, maybe not, who knows. But nonetheless, I'm really, really happy with the car right now, and I'm just about driving at this point. We just enjoy it from here on out. Just my favorite part. Can't not help but just smile when you drive this thing, man. It's just too fun. It's just too much fun to be had in this car. This car's still on a base map, base tune, nothing special. Still have to finish up the port injection, throw in the other low pressure fuel pump, and then hook up the reflex, and then retune with Chris CD919 and hit the dyno. I've been able to enjoy the cars in phases a little bit more, which I like. I'm not like speedballing through the process of modifying these cars. Man, this car loves boost. I'm a sucker for the S65, but I gotta say, dude, these N54s are a lot of fun. They are a lot of fun. It's so funny because like when I get in the E92 M3, it's such a pig. Like it's not fast, but it just controls and handles very, very good and feels amazing when you drive it. And this car is like, it's more rowdy because it's making all of these crazy noises and it's pretty fast for what it is so far, but it doesn't feel as good as the E92 M3. And I think that's really just because of wheel tire setup, suspension modifications. Like I have that E92 setup really, really good. I also have the F8X brake conversion kit going on the E92 very soon. I have everything for it. I just haven't had time to put it on. But man, both cars, having both cars in the garage, it's really like a treat having those two. Oh man, you gotta love it, dude. Like it doesn't handle bad, it's just got a little bit of float to it. It definitely needs a new alignment too. I think that when we do the rear hub conversion, obviously, and the new wheels and tires, we're gonna do a different alignment, something with a little bit more aggression to it. I talked to the guys over at Öhlins and told them, you know, I definitely, they reached out after seeing my E92 video, which is really cool. but I told him, man, I got to do the same setup on the E82 because it's so good. Like, paired with the millway and everything, the way that car's set up, man, oof, it's dialed. God, I love this little thing, man. It's so fun. These seats, no sliding around at all. I think the Alcantara really helps with that. I mean, obviously, like the design of the seat and the bolsters and everything, but the Alcantara is like no slip whatsoever, man. You're locked in. It feels great. See, just around corners, it's got a little like, just not quite where it needs to be. It's a little too much play. It feels like it's probably got some bad bushings in it too. We just need to stiffen everything up. Thinking about dropping the rear subframe and doing rear sway bar as well. The E92 M3, I'm a bit spoiled because it already had rear sway bars, and sometimes people don't want to do all that because you have to drop the rear subframe. But you know, if you're doing that, if you're going in and you're dropping rear subframe, I'm doing all the bushings. I'm doing everything. We're replacing all the arms. We're going balls deep because this is like, why not? You're already there. You might as well. Where this car makes up to where the E92 lacks is the transmission. This car has a completely refreshed transmission. The gears feel really good. It's got a short shifter kit. It's got DKM twin disc clutch. Like, everything in the E92 M3 is factory, and it's got 93,000 miles. It feels horrible. Like, that is the only part of that car that I don't enjoy driving. There was a giant piece of wood in the road over there. It's just the transmission side of it, and it's getting worse too. Now that I'm like daily driving it, I'm like, having some issues, so I think that might be up next for the E92. She is fun though, boys. This thing is so fun to drive. I mean, I don't care what anyone says, you are not getting this experience, this same kind of experience out of any of these newer cars. Like, that's just why you haven't seen me go for like the G80 or the G87. Just, I don't know, man, these old cars just steal my heart. First drive, a success with the Sportsters. Man, I think I made the right choice. I'm actually really glad that I opted for these over the pole positions. I think the poles would have been just a bit much for a street car. And these, you just really get the best of both worlds, you know? And the fact, obviously, that I can still get in the back, do what I need to do. So those are the pieces that I ordered in black. I think that's gonna look a lot better, a bit more uniform. But man, these are just so good, dude. I'm obsessed with them. Very OEM, very sport focused, classy looking. Yeah, I think we did the right choice here, guys. So to show you guys the fitment with the wheels, the 513Ms that I have on here right now, it's not bad. It's actually really not bad, but we do have quite a bit of room, and I think that we can just get a much better setup on this car, especially with the new wheels and once we do the hub conversion. So that'll basically give us, it's going to push it in about 10 millimeters more, which gives us more clearance for bigger tires, bigger wheels, and just better look overall. But other than that, man, we're just enjoying this car, and I'm just driving it. Proof that I'm just driving it. Do have some little discrepancies on the front. I haven't even PPF'd this car yet, which is also crazy for me because I usually do that right away. But yeah, I just haven't had time to bring it into the shop and do the whole PPF and detail thing. I do plan on doing it down the road. I'm just gonna do the whole front end and PPF. But yeah, I think this car is, you know, it's just made to be driven. So I've been driving it and enjoying it. Man, it looks so freaking good. The biggest eyesore right now would be that headliner. Ooh, that gray looks really bad in this car. So I am going to tackle that probably sooner than later. But yeah, we'll see. We have a lot of stuff coming up for this car and I'm super excited. I just wanted to give you guys my initial thoughts on the Sportsters. 10 out of 10. I knew that I'd love them. And yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. And I'm glad that I tried these because now I know in the future, these are the ones to go with. Still considering polls for maybe the M3 or something different. But for this car, I think the Sportsters are just what the car needed. Huge shout out to the guys over at Keys Motorsports for helping me source these. They were on back order. They showed up in 2 weeks. I was so excited when they showed up, but I got everything from them. The VAC seatbelt mounts, the Mach Chanel floor mounts, everything, all sourced through Keys. So if you guys need any of that stuff, I have it linked down below. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching the videos. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.